Live from the Akrs Broadcast Center inside East Stadium, this is the Husker Athletic Director Show with Troy Dannen.
The 3-2 offering. Bouncer up the middle, into center field for a base hit. Caught and scores. Here comes Frost to score. And Devin Nunez, the biggest hit of the Husker 2025 season, gives Nebraska a 6-5 lead in the ninth.
DiNardo swings and lifts this one to left field and deep. Run is all the way back and it's gone! A grand slam for DiNardo and a 4-0 lead for the Huskers.
Roderick holds at the belt. The 0-1. Slider popped up on the infield. Infield fly rule should be in effect, and it is. Two gone as Carey drops it. The runner's going to try and take third. It's a line ball. Overbeek picks it and tags the runner. The game is over.
Now, here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
And welcome into our monthly sit-down with the athletic director, Troy Dannen. I'm Jessica Coody. We were just joking. It seems like you were just here, but that's March, right? When you have so much going on, time flies, right?
Well, this month, probably March and October, with sports winding down and other sports starting. These are the two busiest months of the year. And so, yeah, March is chaos, and I'll lose track of dates. But here we are at the beginning, and it's been quite a March for us. Wrestling, indoor track and field. We had some great performances in this month to remember for a long, long time.
Well, lots to get to here over the next hour, but let's start right there with wrestling. You got to go. You were there. It's such an exciting event, but man, to see Nebraska do what they did, the best showing in program history, 2 national champions. How was that to be there, to get to experience it?
Well, for those who've never been to a wrestling championship, of all the championships, it may be my favorite. I was on the wrestling committee way back in the day when I was still at Northern Iowa, and it is mass chaos, but 18,000 people at every session, and to see our guys after we started Thursday afternoon to basically go a day and a half and maybe lose one match. It was incredible to watch. I was so happy for them because that is a wonderful group of guys on that team. Mark Manning is an extraordinary gentleman. He's done this for a long, long time. One of my highlights was after we'd gotten the second championship and standing around, and he and I talking off to the side, how many coaches came up to him and how many other people came up to him and just shook his hand and said, "Congratulations, we're happy for you." And it reinforced to me how people think of Mark and outside of our program. So for everybody to be involved, and I told you this earlier, that there's 3 competitive moments in my career that I will not ever forget. I remember, what I did, what I said, but one of them was Ali Faroukmanesh when he made the basket in 2010 for Northern Iowa to beat Kansas, and another was for us at Tulane when we won the Cotton Bowl and beat USC. But what happened Saturday night, that's my third one. To see those guys win those championships, knowing it had been so long since it had happened, and then to watch them collect that trophy at the end, it was almost a surreal moment. And we got a lot coming back next year, so it's a moment. You don't want to put any pressure on anybody, but to see what Mark has done with that program, to get them competing at their best in the 2 tournaments, the Big Ten tournament and the national championship, it was a great performance by everyone associated with that wrestling program.
The very first time I interviewed you, you mentioned wrestling. You're a big wrestling fan. You like to watch wrestling, and you actually said before the Big Tens, you're like, I have a feeling this is going to be a special few weeks for Husker wrestling. I think you could see it came across on television, just the culture of that program, the way they were celebrating each other. And, you said it, this is a program coming off a year where they performed well in the Big Ten. They had on the right trajectory. Yeah,
it is. And, wrestling is still, at its core, it's individual determination and perseverance. It's an individual sport that's all tied together into a team score at the end. And, in this day and age of sometimes money, reduces that passion, and when you face adversity, you tend maybe to not push through it. Those wrestlers, money hasn't necessarily infiltrated that sport in a way that it has. Now, some schools it has, but not across the board. So, it's pure. And the other thing I don't think anybody realizes is what these guys do to their bodies in order to make weight, in order to go out there and perform the life they live for 6 months, none of it, the rest of us would be willing to do that to ourselves. To see after the afternoon session when some of our All-Americans were back at the hotel and they all ordered DoorDash crumble cookies, and they were eating these cookies like they were going out of style. It's the first time in 6 months they've been able to do anything like that.
Yeah, crazy the discipline that goes into that. Well, the other postseason team that recently you had a chance to go watch in person down in Fort Worth, women's basketball, just a heartbreaker, but what a basketball game. I know this is a team that fully expected to go down there and win and advance, but the way that they responded, that's their word, their program word, responded, the resiliency, you had to be proud of that group. Yeah,
I was really impressed being around them to have the 2 ACLs and not just role players, but players who were going to lead your team, and then to go through Britt's injury near the end of the season, and Alexis was battling injury all year. And for all those things, we were playing the best we'd played all year in the Big Ten tournament, and then again at TCU. So really impressed with how they responded. Really impressed with the job Amy did to not let those things drag anybody down. And that was a rock fight of a game, the way Louisville played. And we tend to sometimes we'd have those streaks, right? We'd get down and then we'd fight back, and that happened a couple of times. And you just sometimes can't fight back from that. But a lot of great things to remember from this season. And again, as much talent as we lose, I think there's a lot of optimism with the talent that does come back next year. And hopefully we can stay healthy, and Amy has a chance to make a full, healthy run.
Absolutely. Track and field, you'd mentioned this off the top, but 2 national champions there as well. Axelina Johansson wins the shot put. Tyus Wilson wins the high jump. And what's crazy is that this team just continues to get better once they head into the spring.
Yeah, and McKaylin was a silver medalist in the triple. So, great performances. Most of our performances not on the track where we scored. They were field events, jump throws. Our coaching staff does a great job. We had a transfer at mid-year. Without that transfer, we might be talking medal stand, trophy stand with the team. And there's high expectations coming into the outdoor season as well. So fun to watch. I think the men finished 10th, the women maybe 16th, somewhere around in there, maybe top 20 at the very least. So, when you're in the top 10, top 20 of a championship at the end of the season, you need to look back and feel really, really good about it. They did a great job, and I know they're all looking forward to the outdoor. They're looking forward to running around a track with a new facility being built around it, and the 2026 Big Ten Outdoor Championships are going to be here in Lincoln. So, again, I keep thinking there's a lot to look forward to every place you turn.
Yeah. Okay, and then the other event that's going to be happening coming up on Monday, men's basketball. I know that disappointed they all had expectations to be in the NCAA tournament, but going to get a chance to play in the postseason with the Crown tournament in Vegas, a new tournament, and there's been a lot of hype surrounding this. They're making a big push for it. Going to be on Fox, who's one of the Big Ten television partners, but Coach Hoiberg's been very complimentary of the group that's putting it on, and this is a great opportunity for this basketball team.
Yeah, the tournament, from this end of things up till now, extraordinarily well organized and put together. And for this being the first crack at it, they're paying the teams to come just in the same way the NCAA, pays and travels the teams. They're bringing them out there by charter. Now, we've had a couple weeks off, the chance to play 4 games in really 6 days. If you stay alive in this tournament, the fact that there's an NIL reward for the team at the end, those who get in the semis and the finals. It's not just a trophy; it's actual cash that's going to go to the athletes. So maybe in that way, a new era tournament. Some folks opted out, and Fred and I had a long discussion about whether that was the right play or not to opt out. There's 2 ways to finish 17 and 14. You win 5 in a row, you lose 5 in a row to get to 17 and 14, and one way feels great, and the other way feels. But the guys in the locker room got to make the decision as to whether they played, and they want to play, they want to be in it, and that's half the battle when you get to the postseason. If you're not in the NCAA tournament, does your team want to be there? And I think that speaks to the makeup, and hopefully, I know we've got a little bit of a couple health issues, and injury issues coming into it, but it's the last time for a lot of these guys to wear the end. And the fact that they want to do it, and coaches highly motivated to do it. We've had a couple of weeks to worry about the portal and start worrying about the transfers. So I'm excited for what lies ahead out in Vegas.
Can you maybe dive into the NIL component a little bit for this tournament and how that works for those that might be familiar? And can you do whatever you want with it if you win it?
Yeah, so the winning team, there's $500,000 allocated to NIL. The winning team, they'll essentially give your collective $300,000. The second place team's $100,000, and then the two semifinal losers get $50,000 each. So that goes to the collective, and then it'll be distributed, to the athletes. And how that's distributed, we haven't had those discussions yet. That's really a coach-led decision at that point in time. But again, it's a little something different to play for. There's a preseason tournament in Vegas last year for the first time that offered NIL. There will be a tournament next year, I think, talking about expanding to 32 in the preseason that will offer NIL. So, it might be the beginning of seeing something a little bit different.
I mean, it's in this day and age, every little bit helps, right? Well,
and the fact that, there's a lot of motivations to why you play and why you don't play. It's for a lot of these guys, they could go start training for the NBA. Mm-hmm. But for a lot of these guys, this is the last competitive basketball they're really going to play. Maybe they hit a G League, maybe they go overseas. But for the most part, the NBA is really not there. So, if there's, and I'm all for the financial rewards. The more we can do of that, the better. I mean, it's hard for me to say when you're around these guys all the time and the ladies all the time and see what they do. When people aren't watching, right? And when the games aren't going on, see what they do to prepare themselves. To think anything else than they deserve any financial rewards that come forward is nonsensical. So I'm glad they've got that opportunity. For our guys, I know they feel sour about how things ended. Yeah. They've told me that. So this is their chance to go not end on that taste that they had when Iowa beat us on that Sunday.
Yeah, and I was going to even ask you about Coach Hoiberg because, just a couple of the interviews that we've had with him, you could just tell, I mean, he wants it worse than anybody, right? I mean, he loves this place and he wants this place to win. What's the conversation been like with him following the season? Again, just nobody wants to win more than Fred Hoiberg.
No, and the conversations we have, it's funny, you get on social media and it's like, oh, fire everybody. And the reality is when things don't go well, you have to be introspective and ask yourself why. And my response to Fred is, tell me what you need me to do. How can I help you? Here are the things I see, but tell me how I can help you. And the job of the athletic director or anybody in the department is to find a way to help the coach get in the position once the coach has had an introspection time, right, to look and say, what happened, why? And then we can all work together to get to a better position next year. And that's true. That's true with Matt coming off a bowl win. That's true with Fred coming off some losses and not making the Big Ten tournament. It is the way things work in reality. We can all be emotional, but when you're working here, when you're in the when you're Fred Hoiberg or when you're in my chair, you can't act emotionally. You've got to be rational, and you got to figure out, okay, let's figure out what do we need to do to get to the place we want to get. And Fred's been great at that with me, and Amy and I are going to have those conversations as well. What else do we need to do? It's not just how much revenue share money there is, but it's are we putting the coaches in a position to succeed or not?
Yeah. Let's stick with basketball because you posted on your social media some court changes in PBA. Tell us about that and the process with that.
Yeah, every once in a while, I either make a good decision or a bad decision, whatever it is, to do something. I put a football field out there, and people lost their gourds, and so the same thing happened. This design, honestly, we were ready to go with it in the fall. I'm big, and those who followed me, at Tulane, I like the cartoon logo. I think it's fun. I want to have fun, and the fact that we've got such a great logo. Fans from day one, where's the state outline? Where's the state outline? And so you heard that, and you can put those two things together. Our plan was actually to replace. We couldn't resand the floor, but we had planned to replace the center pieces of wood, just buy new wood and replace that in the middle of the season. But by the time it was going to be ready to go, it was almost February, and at that point, it wasn't worth it. So this has kind of been in the doing for months and months now, and to get stuff like this done, it takes this much lead time. So the floor gets sanded down in the off season as it does every year, and that'll be the new mark that's applied.
How do you guys go about figuring out what you want it to look like and the renderings and all of that? Who gets involved with that?
Somebody might think there's a lot of science to it. There's not. Honestly, you do listen to what people say and want, and people think you don't. And you don't, that doesn't mean you do it. But, when you hear things, what drives people, and we have a great external team. Brandon Meyer leads a great external team. And so, hey, I'm hearing a lot about this, Brandon. What do you think? And, explain to me the history and explain to me how this would be received. And then we talk to the coaches and voila, there we have it. So it's just kind of like the uniforms, when somebody wants to wear a black uniform, okay, go. You have to do things, one, that are a little bit fun, two, that your kids want, your athletes want. Now, I sat at a table at a SAC luncheon with some of our donors a couple of days ago with a couple of women's basketball players, and they were so excited about this mark. That's all they wanted to talk about. So it's, I wish there was a scientific formula for how you come up with this stuff, but sometimes it's just a matter of listening and figuring out what would be fun and how do we want to represent ourselves? And block N is really important. It's a really important mark, but we're going to see more and more of Herbie along the way as well.
So you're a big fan of the new Herbie then?
I'm a big fan. I'm a big, what's new is old, or what's old is new, whatever you say. I think embracing, so we've made some decisions, right, that maybe don't embrace the past as much as, trying to get us in position for the future. But when you can do things to bring the past back to life, in a past that a celebrated past, right? When things were going good, we saw a lot of Herbie. So, how do we bring that stuff back? And that's not to say that'll ever be the primary mark, and that we won't do some other things. Matt Rule had a great comment in his I think it was a press conference to start spring ball about uniforms and about non-traditional uniforms. The athletes want it. And like I've always said, I don't care if we wear red, black, white, whatever color we want to wear. If our athletes think they're faster, stronger, and jump higher, by golly, let's wear that. And so there's a lot of, the athletes need to have fun. The athletes need to have buy-in and be engaged with how we represent their program and what they're wearing, right, when they represent all of us.
Great stuff. All right, we're just getting started here on our athletic director show with Troy Dannen. We're going to step aside for a break. I see some texts rolling in. We'll try to get to a few of those, and still a lot more to get to with the AD here tonight. Dorothy Lynch, homestyle and light and lean dressing, endless flavorabilities. Keep it here.
Life is busy. Wouldn't it be great if someone could help you manage your insurance?
Well, I do have a lot to keep on top of. Between the house, my life insurance, the car. Like you said, life is busy.
A local Trusted Choice independent insurance agent can help you with your research, coverage selection, pricing, and claims at no extra cost to you.
Which means I'll have more time to spend on other things.
Trusted Choice independent insurance agents. We'll help do your insurance. You just do you.
Hey Husker fans, get game ready at Alumni Hall, your ultimate Nebraska Cornhusker shopping experience. Upgrade your tailgate gear, shop officially licensed Nebraska clothing for the family, or load up on hats, gifts, and accessories. Spend $150 and you'll receive a $10 reward on your next purchase with Alumni Hall's Hall Pass rewards. Nebraska students, faculty, and military receive 10% off when shopping in store. Come shop at Alumni Hall, located in downtown and in the South Point Pavilion in Lincoln, or shop alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Husker fans shop.
Hi, I'm Tom Osborne, former football coach and co-founder of the Teammates Mentoring Program.
And I'm Des Moines Adams, Husker Black Shirt and CEO of Teammates Mentoring.
We are recruiting Teammates mentors and need caring adults to be in the lives of our students.
Meeting with a student once a week at the school can make a positive impact in their life and have a ripple effect in our communities.
Please join our team.
Go to teammates.org today.
Husker fans, if you're looking for a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding and provides flexibility, your local insurance agency is hiring. No matter your skills or interests, there are opportunities for you in the insurance industry. Explore the many ways you can use your skills to protect your community by checking out the IIAN job board. Find your calling and be a part of an industry that makes a difference. Go to iian.org/careers today.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
The signs are everywhere. It's time for Truck Month at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get up to $7,500 cash on F-150 and save on Ford Super Duty. Both part of F-Series, America's best-selling truck lineup for 48 years. Hurry in, folks. These trucks are running. Drive a new Ford F-150 with up to $7,500 cash or 1.9 financing plus $4,750 cash. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers, driven by value.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to our monthly sit-down with the athletic director, Troy Dannen, here on Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Coach, I wanted to, or Coach, I'm used to coaches.
I've been called
shows,
worse.
You know?
I've been called worse.
Coach Hoiberg was talking yesterday, so I wanted to dive into this with you just about the timing of the transfer portal and how, especially with men's basketball, it just opened. It was crazy, like over 2,000 in the first 2 days entered the portal. But he was talking about maybe shifting the timing of that. What's your thoughts on that? Is there a possibility to do that?
You know, I think coaches would love the timing shifted. I know when the student athletes have had a chance to weigh in on this, at least to the NCAA level, they don't want it shifted. And the thing to remember is the portal opened this week as we got to the Sweet 16. There's 353 teams that play Division I basketball, so 337 of them were done. And all those teams were done. The coaches had conversations with their athletes, talking about what their future is. You know, is there a future? And people had made their decisions. And you can argue it'd be nice if it was at the end of the academic semester, and I think it would be the best if all portals were at the end of the school year so that everybody's academics really were unhindered and people weren't trying to make decisions in the middle of a school year, the semester, or now. However, I don't see a fundamental change coming, and I'm not sure other than, it'd be a lot easier for us because the kids are making the decisions. They know they're leaving. Discussions are happening with their representatives at other schools before they go into the portal. So most of this is a fait accompli, and so let's just do it. I do like it better here than the day after the NCAA selection show, which is the way this started. But if you take the viewpoint of the student athlete, if they're ready, let them make the decision. The 2,000 that went in the first day, that 2,000 is going to go in the first day no matter when it is.
Yeah.
And it is going to be chaos no matter when it is. And one of the things that we've always had a hard time in the enterprise talking about is we had a lot of coaches go in the portal and change schools from the selection date until now. So the kids shouldn't be able to do that. A year ago, I went into the transfer portal and left Washington and came here, right in the middle of the school year. I can do that, and the kids shouldn't be able to do that. So it's kind of hard, other than convenience for ourselves, it's kind of hard to say, thou shalt not be able to do what I am able to do.
I actually said that same thing last night because, the coaches the media are doing their job, but they're getting asked about the ones that are being talked about potentially going to the next place too. So it's a distraction either way, whether you're talking about the kids going into the portal or these coaches that are at some of these mid-majors getting bigger opportunities where there's openings every year.
Well, I joked a little bit with our coaches, as we've talked about this, now you know what it's like to be an athletic director, wondering if your coach is going to stay or go. And that they're faced with it with many more, right? But still with the same amount of control. And so the system is chaotic. In professional sports, in the NFL, a head coach under contract would never be leaving. It's just not allowed. But here, there's a buyout, and off we go. So this is whether it's good or bad, the college athletics enterprise is much different than professional sports. And as we talk about this being professionalized, it's not. This is not labor. It may feel like labor. It may look like it's not labor. And we're kind of running into this hybrid world where there are freedoms to our coaches, there are freedoms to our staff, to myself, and those freedoms have now been extended to the student athletes. So I understand the discomfort with the change, but it's hard to argue. If you want to argue on behalf of the student athlete, it's hard to argue they shouldn't have these same freedoms that we do.
So also wanted to dive into just speaking on the transfer portal and just this recruiting cycle, because we've been hearing about this rev sharing and that it's coming. Well, it's actually coming. So now you're starting to have those discussions when you have these potential athletes that you're talking about and the money that might be available or not available. How has that impacted, changed? What is that? How does that, I guess, change the process now moving forward with this recruiting cycle?
Well, if there's chaos that's abnormal, it is about the revenue share that's coming. Assuming the antitrust settlement is approved sometime in April, I think a lot of athletes, a lot of agents, a lot of schools are looking at it that next year there will be a finite cap in how the revenue is shared, how much revenue is available in the sport of basketball. And in theory, the settlement will govern third-party NIL. So it'll be of market value, whatever that means. Right now, that doesn't exist. So I think you see a lot of people that are just saying, we have this window in which we can do almost anything. And places that have somebody that wants to write scads of checks are writing scads of checks. And you see numbers, most of the numbers are false, let's be honest, but they're not all false. And I just know from the discussions we're having, the market value of a player who might have been one number last year is quite often doubled right now from what it was year over year, as you talk about what type of NIL deals. So there is a little chaos because we're at the end of one era of NIL and essentially unchecked into an era of revenue share and checked NIL. And so I think everybody's making a last-ditch effort to get as much as they can ahead of the system, assuming the system that we're going to have out of the settlement holds and withstands all the scrutinies that it's going to be forced to withstand.
I'm glad you're the athletic director and not me. I would not want to be managing and trying to deal and navigate through all of this.
It's a challenge for the coaches. I said this about Matt and Amy's dealing with it as well, and as is Fred. Their lives are, because we haven't really given them any rules and guidelines and direction just yet. So you're trying to, not just the old build the airplane while you're flying it. You're actually trying to write the manual for how to build the airplane when you're flying it right now. So it's really tough on the coaches. I don't think anybody feels sorry for any of us that are involved in this enterprise. This is a chance, though, if you embrace this, you have a chance to make inroads and steps forward against the people who aren't embracing it. And so I've been really proud of our coaches who've embraced the chaos and trying to find ways to best succeed within it.
Okay, so before we let you get out of here, because you actually have some dad duties, believe it or not, tonight.
I do. 7:10 flag football game tonight, so tickets are free if anybody wants to come.
There you go. But didn't want to let you get out of here without asking you about Husker softball, another top 25 team here. They had a great weekend last weekend. Great game last night. Had some record-breaking crowds once again. I think 4th in the nation in attendance. How excited are you about that team?
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable at this latitude in March to be 4th. Now we've had good weather for a lot of our home series, and Jordy. Obviously, it's kind of like I think we saw with Caitlin Clark a year ago, right? We go to Ohio State, they have their biggest crowds. We go to Omaha, they sell their building out, but they're there to see Jordy, and she is a celebrity of celebrities in the game, and what an awesome person. To have represented us, but we're hitting the tar out of the ball as well, and so.
And Jordy's hitting the tar out of the ball.
Jordy's not just a pitcher; she's maybe the best player in the game, all-around player in the game. And again, I'm happy we're on her. We're blessed with great coaches, great people leading our programs, and so I think 24-8, sitting around the top 20 and there's Oregon and UCLA are in the top 10. Ohio State, who beat us 2 out of 3, is ahead of us in the rankings. So Big Ten's a good league. Adding the West Coast schools really enhanced softball. So Washington's a good program. So there's a lot ahead for us. And we made a lot of improvements out at the ballpark this year, and I think it's shown with the attendance. And if there's one piece of encouragement, boy, keep supporting this program because. Jordy's a generational talent, but there's talent around her too, and they're a lot of fun to watch.
They're back again at home this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So get on out to Bolin Stadium. We're going to have Haven Fields come in next. So tell us about Haven, though. He's going to talk about some Husker games. Maybe some announcements there.
He is going to talk about Husker games. Haven is a retired former football player, so he still thinks he could be a football player. He still works out like he's a football player, but played a long, long time ago at Auburn. When you see him, if you see him on the video tonight, he's much older than he looks. But I had actually recruited Haven to come to Washington, and he helped me on the search to replace Jed Fish. And then, I left a couple months later and then called him and said, hey, I've got a spot here for a deputy and someone to oversee football day to day. And plus, he's a fundraiser by trade and worked at Illinois, and so he's got time in the Big Ten. So Haven is the COO of the department. So as much as I'm gone, he's running the shop, and a lot of times you don't see him or hear his name, but does great work for us. Oversees all the external units, and managing football at this level in and of itself is a full-time job. But I keep adding things to his plate. So the Husker games is really his baby to make sure it all goes off. So I would encourage you to feel free to grill him. And as I'm out of here, I may try to text a question in on the drive to grill him as well.
Yeah, text us in on the text line. We'll make sure. Troy from Lincoln, first-time listener, right? No, thank you so much for being here, and have fun at the 7-on-7 game tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. More of the show coming up after this.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Life is busy. Wouldn't it be great if someone could help you manage your insurance?
Well, I do have a lot to keep on top of. Between the house, my life insurance, the car. Like you said, life is busy.
A local Trusted Choice independent insurance agent can help you with your research, coverage selection, pricing, and claims at no extra cost to you.
Which means I'll have more time to spend on other things.
Trusted Choice independent insurance agents. We'll help do your insurance. You just do you.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Exarban Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
The signs are everywhere. It's time for Truck Month at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get $3,000 cash on Super Duty and save on Ford F-150. Both part of F-Series, America's best-selling truck lineup for 48 years. Hurry in, folks. These trucks are running. Drive a new Ford Super Duty with $3,000 cash or 1.9% financing. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers, driven by value.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly and our monthly chat with the athletics director, a monthly hour-long AD show. Troy had to run, so he made a call to the bullpen, and Haven Fields is joining us, the deputy AD here at Nebraska Athletics and COO. And you've actually been in the studio before. You can go back and listen to the podcast we did, last summer. So you're no stranger to the mic, but thank you for being here and stepping in.
Well, thank you for having me, Jess. I had a great time with you again, almost a year ago.
Crazy.
So it's just come full circle, been surreal. A lot has happened, and again, I just really humble and excited to be a part of Cornhusker Nation.
Well, you heard Troy saying that the Husker games, that's your baby, and you've been spending a lot of time working on this, and a lot of people have a lot of questions about it. I think it's going to be fantastic, a fun day. There's a lot of events, and you're here to tell us a little bit more about it. And I guess let's start with the team captains, because you got some big names that are going to be being the team captains.
Sure, but as I'm doing that, I want people to, as you're hearing me, go back, think about the Pro Bowl. Think about the NFL Pro Bowl and how they set the stage and how they are not competing, against each other on the gridiron, or they are in a different way, right? And so it's really been exciting for us as we get former players involved, guys who have had great careers here at Nebraska. And so without any further ado, I guess I should probably move forward and share those names. So really excited for the guy who will represent the legends as our captain, Jay Foreman, obviously a three-time champion, an All-American. He's been a great confidant and has assisted me in a lot of ways as it relates to supporting former players and just the work we've been able to do. He's been a liaison for that group. And then on the other side of that, we've got the Stars captain, which is Will Compton, longtime linebacker, NFL linebacker. And both those guys have stepped up to the plate. I think it's really exciting when you can get former players involved in this fashion. Again, it's part of the day, right? We know we're going to have a lot of fans wondering as we talk through this, what is actually happening on this day, right? As much as we want to get our fans engaged and make sure they have a great experience, on the other side of that, we want our football players to have a lot of fun as well. So we figured that we would merge the two together. Really exciting time for us, and I can't wait for those guys to be involved. And a big component of that is they're captains, but they're not only captains for former players, but they're captains for the team. As we walk through this with Coach Rule, it became, hey, we'll have a black team, we'll have a red team. Jay, being the black shirt that he was, one of the all-time greats, will represent the black team. Will represent the red team. So really exciting in that fashion.
Okay, so, a lot of people, well, there's no game. What's going to fill the time? And there's a lot of different things that are going to make up the time that we're out there in the stadium, a lot of fun events. Can you break down some of those for us?
Sure, and I'll start from the top because I think it's really important to set the day, right? There's a lot of history, a lot of tradition, a lot of hardware equipment. We've got the Husker equipment sale to start the day. First thing that morning. Giving people an opportunity to get a lot of paraphernalia. And it's everything that you have ever seen our student athletes have the chance to wear, right? Anything from uniform pants, baseball game jerseys, football jerseys, volleyball jerseys. You got golf shorts. I mean, you name it. I mean, there's track spikes. I'm sure we've got a lot of people who have kids that are running track right now. So there's an opportunity. I think, to me, that's probably going to be one of the more exciting events because I know how people are as it relates to the block-in, the brand, being able to purchase things of that nature. And so that event will take place in Hawks Championship Center. And I'm really excited about that because the pride, as I shared on the first time I was with you, the pride and the passion of the people who support this institution and that support athletics. I don't know what it'll look like, but I know it's going to be really crowded. And then I think we've got a really special opportunity. And I want to shout out James Kerwin, along with Courtney Thompson, who's the athletic director at Midland University, for the opportunity to have their team come over and participate in the first part of the Husker games as far as contests are concerned. So we'll have women's flag football is an emerging sport. We want to really highlight the women of Nebraska, starting with their team who's had a pretty good year. They're playing right now as it goes through the spring. And they move some things around so they could be a part of this day with us. Their head coach, James Kerwin, was really excited to be a part of it. And on the other side of that, I want to thank Amy Dannen from Campus Rec, allowing us to be able to create a intramurals all-star team to compete against Midland. And so the day will start there at 12:45, in which we'll have the opportunity to, allow those women to put on display the great thing that you're seeing right now as it relates to women's sports, women athletics, in a time where I think it has certainly been enhanced in every area as we are in March Madness with women's basketball right now. So really exciting time there. And then we roll into what I think really people are excited about as it relates to what will take place. I mentioned, Pro Bowl earlier. You start thinking about skills, competition. And again, I think having former players, having, current players and being able to interact with each other and find ways to compete is exciting. With the NCAA, as far as compliance is concerned, usually you have to commit to 3 scrimmages. You have to confirm them through your practice schedule. And we thought we would have just 3 scrimmages for our team. But Coach Rule decided, hey, let's make some adjustments by having 2 scrimmages, and the third would count as the Husker game. So we would be able to interact, because if we didn't have that third scrimmage, or we didn't count it as a third, we wouldn't be able to go through that. So our team, our coaches, we all got together, and he decided, hey, why not allow the third scrimmage date, which is tied to Husker games, be a part of that. So really excited that we get to allow our current versus former to interact because of the policy of the compliance rules. So really excited there. But as far as events are concerned.
And I'm going to stop you there. We got one more break to get in. So we're going to leave you on a cliffhanger, get to a commercial break. On the other side of this, he's going to break down the other events for us coming up on the Husker game. So keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Husker fans, if you're looking for a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding and provides flexibility, your local insurance agency is hiring. No matter your skills or interests, there are opportunities for you in the insurance industry. Explore the many ways you can use your skills to protect your community by checking out the IIAN job board. Find your calling and be a part of an industry that makes a difference. Go to iian.org/careers today.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hi, I heard Cash Blast is back.
Yes, sir. Until April 1st, buy a 2x2 ticket and enter the voucher number online for a chance to win one of 7 weekly drawings for $5,000 or $500. And if your voucher is from a 7-day draw ticket, your prize is doubled.
You guys are great.
Thanks, but we think our players are greater.
No, you're greater.
No, you're greater.
Well, if you insist.
2x2 top prize odds 1 in 105,000.
The signs are everywhere. It's time for Truck Month at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get up to $7,500 cash on F-150 and save on Ford Super Duty. Both part of F-Series, America's best-selling truck lineup for 48 years. Hurry in, folks. These trucks are running. Drive a new Ford F-150 with up to $7,500 cash or 1.9 financing plus $4,750 cash. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers. Driven by value.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices.
I'm Ann Meese, a farmer near Elgin, Nebraska. I grew up on this land, and we're dedicated to being good stewards and leaving it better for the next generation.
Since 1980, U.S. soybean farmers have boosted production by 130%, all while lowering emissions and improving land and water use. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Final segment of our AD show here on Sports Nightly. Haven Fields here joining us on the last couple of segments. We're talking about the Husker games. I interrupted you. You got more to tell us what events are going to be taking place during that time on the field.
Yeah, so as it relates to football, obviously that's the most important piece of this as far as what people probably want to hear. And we're going to involve our kickers, every position, offensive line, defensive line, skill positions. So we're breaking down ways to get everybody engaged and involved. So, we'll have our kickers punting into a tanks with the bullseye painted, just so we can see the accuracy of a kicker, obviously create some entertainment. As far as the offensive linemen are concerned, defensive linemen will have tractor pulls. We're thinking about a bench press contest, or a relay races, to a certain degree of what I should say. We'll have skills competitions. What you see is time and agility courses, fastest man. So there'll be a lot of different competitions. But I think the exciting piece is also how we involve our students, which they'll have the chance to probably run against a football player, and they'll get a 20-yard head start in a 60-yard dash. Just thinking about how we can continue to involve our students, and then also getting the media involved. I know Coach Raiola has been, vocal about them being involved, and we've thought, long and hard how we can engage them and make sure they're a part of the day to have some fun as well. Even getting Steve Sipple involved and maybe catching a punt. My thought is to allow my thought is to allow Ja'Cory Barney Jr. maybe to advise him or give him some instruction as he gets ready to go through the process. But so we'll have all those things happening, Jess. And again, I want to make sure that people know that tickets are still available. We want as many people to come out as possible. Again, a way to be engaged, involved, a different way to see our program that Matt Rule has done such a great job with. Still able to purchase tickets, $10 for adults, $1 for 8th grade or under. A family of 4 can come to a game for $22. And I think the other thing that I want to make sure that I share is that you've got to have a ticket, whether it be to football. We also have women's volleyball competing that night against Kansas. And in between that, we've got women's soccer competing against Wyoming. But you must have a ticket in order to get into the Husker garage sale. So you've got to have purchased a ticket in order to get into the garage sale. And the last thing I'll say is, as we're on this conversation around football and Husker games, next Tuesday, April 1st, is the deadline as far as season tickets are concerned for football. People need to purchase now. Make sure you renew your tickets. Coming to an end. I know a lot of people are moving up in their priority to be able to purchase tickets. So thanks for the investment. Want people to continue to support the Husker programs. And again, just really excited about where things are headed.
Just got about a minute left, but the thought process behind the Husker games is that it's going to be a competition between all of these events, and the team wins, right? That whoever has racks the most teams.
There's
or
a
most
point
points.
system.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's going to be a competition all throughout the day with the team captains. Also, got to mention food trucks and tailgating is, hey, come on and tailgate, and there's lots of food trucks that you can eat at.
That's right. Food trucks really important. We've got quite a few confirmed. We're looking for at least probably a dozen. And I think, again, people, want to tailgate. People want the opportunity to try different foods. Local vendors being out at our contest, again, it just creates a better, even more of an atmosphere as far as part of the day is concerned. Again, we're doing everything we can to make sure that we give our fans, a great experience, a great atmosphere. And obviously that involves food, that involves tailgating. You want to create a mini version of what we look forward to seeing this fall. And again, just really excited for Husker games. And I think, again, people will really be impressed with the product on the field. Again, starting with the women, the former players, current players, and it should be a great opportunity for us to just, again, be engaged in the Husker community.
Huskers.com/tickets. We're back with Hour 2 next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Good evening, I'm Camden Cohn, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Earlier today, Husker golfer Hamish Murray was named Big Ten Golfer of the Week. The senior from Australia fired a season-best 209, 7 under par. That tied for third individually at the Bell Bank Collegiate in Arizona earlier this week. In other Husker news, today is opening day in Major League Baseball, and 4 former Huskers have made opening day rosters. Spencer Schwellenbach and Aaron Bummer are pitchers for the Braves. Cade Povich is in the rotation for the Orioles, and Jake Myers is the starting center fielder for the Astros. Meyer went 2 for 4 with an RBI in the Astros' 3-1 win over the Mets today. Some other MLB scores of note include the Guardians getting a 7-4 win over the Royals in 10 innings. The Padres also got a 7-4 win over the Braves. The White Sox started the season with an 8-1 win over the Angels. The Giants went on the road and beat the Reds 6-4. The Phillies defeated the Nationals 7-3 in 10 innings, and the Yankees beat the Brewers 4-2. And finally, the Sweet 16 is underway in men's basketball. Currently, Alabama leads BYU 50-40 just before the half, and Florida leads Maryland 20-13 with about 9 minutes left in the first half there. Later tonight at 8:39, Arizona faces off with Duke, and at 9:09, Arkansas battles Texas Tech. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout if you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Hedges set. The 3-2 offering. Bouncer up the middle, into center field for a base hit. Caught and scores. Here comes Frost to score. And Devin Nunez, the biggest hit of the Husker 2025 season, gives Nebraska a 6-5 lead in the ninth.
Righty Sousa steps on and delivers to the lefty Hoffman. And Hoffman swings and drives it deep right field and gone! 5th home run of the year for Casey Hoffman, and a 5-0 lead for Nebraska.
Now, here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome in, hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Appreciate Troy Dannen and Haven Field spending some time with us here in hour number 1. Got a lot of information there in that first hour. We want to have Haven back on because there's a lot of things that are going to be surrounding the Husker games, and it's still evolving, still changing. We're waiting on a couple more announcements to come in to be able to talk about. So we're going to have him back on the show and be able to dive into a lot of things and just the process of all of it. So a lot of great stuff there. He had mentioned Will Compton and Jay Foreman will be the captains. So basically, it's going to be a format where there's going to be a lot of competitions that are going to be happening throughout the course of the day, and it's a point system, and so they're going to add up the points, and then the winning team gets bragging rights. But I don't know if there's a trophy yet. I'm not sure about that. But so the 2 captains will be Will Compton and Jay Foreman, and so it should be a fun format. I know the team's really excited about it, getting the former players involved. There is going to be the Legends versus the All-Stars game, which, from my understanding, I believe Damon Benning's going to be playing in that, so I cannot wait to see if he's still got any juice left in him. So we'll see about that, but going to be a fun day. Huskers.com/tickets, and we'll talk a lot more about it here over the next month. And again, we'll have Haven on again. He does a lot of great things for the department, and he's the sport administrator and is the guy that works closely on the admin staff with Husker football. He's out at practice almost every single day, knows a lot about it, so does a great job, and so we'll be able to dive in a lot more with him here coming up in the next couple of weeks. So if you have any questions, shoot them my way, and I'll make sure and try to ask him those when we get closer to. But heard all the different events that are going to be happening, the spring sale, the garage sale, if you will, a lot of great stuff there. And you have to have a ticket to be able to get into that, to either football, soccer, or volleyball. So make sure you, again, get those tickets. And then the food trucks, there's going to be an awesome showing of food trucks that you can do. And I personally have gotten quite a few questions and asking about tailgating. Tailgating will be the same. You can come tailgate, but hey, check out you don't have to cook, I guess, at your tailgates. You can come do the food trucks and then, but still hang out at the tailgates. But we'll have, again, more information as it comes available and as it gets solidified over the next coming weeks. But going to be a fun day for sure. I'm excited about it personally. I think it's going to be really exciting, fast pace moving, and I think it's going to be something for everybody and a lot of fun ways to showcase the student athletes and all the fall sports of soccer and volleyball and some of the former players and the flag football competition game that's going to be played. Just so many fun things. I'm forgetting all of them because there's so many great things. It's going to be a great day from start to finish here in Lincoln. All right. Well, spring football is underway. This is the first week, so we got a few practices here in already. Had another media availability today. I was able to chat with quarterback Dylan Raiola today following practice. Here with the quarterback, Dylan Raiola. Well, how's it feel to be back out on the field, your second spring football?
It feels great. Probably a lot better than last spring. Kind of know what's going on, what to expect. So you kind of, can kind of get better quicker. And, as a team, we've worked really hard in the winter. So to kind of finally just come out here and do what we came here to do is play football. So it's been fun.
Describe the differences, the growth in yourself from where you were this time a year ago when we talked to you to where you are now.
Probably from a mental aspect, a lot of games, a lot of experience, and kind of just to know what to expect, what we could get better on from last year, and from a physical standpoint, just been working on my my body and just getting in a position to be successful in this season, and I feel great where I'm at, and I just want to keep building, keep growing.
Do you feel a difference in where you're at physically these first few practices out on the field? Yeah,
I feel a lot better, a lot lighter, and more quicker on my feet. So I think it was a big adjustment this winter. I'm kind of just grinding it out and just sticking with it, but it's all worth it now.
How was it to be a part of Pro Day? I know it's a special day for these guys as they chase their dreams, for you to get to help them, and how much did you take away from that?
Yeah, I just love every chance I get to be around these guys, being around them a whole year. Some of them been here for 5-6 years, so for them to go out there, chase their dream, have a shot to show their talents, and then just to be a small part of throwing the ball, watching them catch and turn and run. So, I'm grateful for the opportunity. There's a lot of eyes watching, and I'm glad those guys deserve that.
So a lot of the guys have said how much you've even grown as a leader. You were obviously a natural leader last year in that position, but that even more so here throughout the workouts and into spring football. How has that evolved for you, and how much more comfortable are you in that role?
Yeah, I think honestly just having a year playing and kind of, having that experience to kind of show the guys, they can trust me and that, I won't leave them astray. And I think that's a big thing for them to just trust me, and, that's a responsibility that I don't take for granted. I need to be able to lead them the right way and the correct way so we can put our team in the best position to be successful. So, with Coach Rule's leadership and help and all our staff help, they've helped me tremendously this winter.
What were some of the things you learned from year one that you're trying to apply now as you hit the field for spring football? Yeah,
I think just closing the games out, 2-minute drills, and understanding that, honestly, going into last year was kind of shocked, the amount of games that came down to 2-minute. But you go back and watch it, and there's all these different things you can work on and fix. So that gives us confidence and something to work for in closing out these games and winning those close games when it comes down to it.
How has it been? You got a taste of working with Dannen Holgorsen, but now that you're really able to dive in and he can get all of his stuff in, what's that process been like, and how do you feel about where you guys are at with that?
Yeah, it's been a blessing to hear from his mind. Kind of, he's been around it for forever. So for him to put his stamp on our offense and kind of implement what he wants, you go from 3 weeks into a crash course into a full off season. So you can see the changes, you can see the difference in the guys being comfortable with going out there and knowing what to do. So it allows us to play a lot faster and kind of attack and get going and get lined up.
The wide receivers, we're hearing a lot about that. How do you like that group? Are you having some fun with those guys?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's like a car guy that's got a bunch of Ferraris and Lamborghinis. You kind of got to pick which one you want to take out for a ride, and they just work really hard. And I think the part that impresses me the most is they're great guys. We spend a lot of time together. We eat breakfast together, and we just really try to break bread and understand if I get on them on the field, it's because, I understand his off-the-field life, and I can understand him on a personal level. So I think that's a different approach to kind of reach people is through just getting to know them off the field, so they have that trust, and you can just, go right forward with them.
We heard Dan Key say that no other quarterback did with him when he was in the transfer portal what you did, and a lot of guys have said that. Why does that continue to be so important for you to be invested in bringing guys in here to Nebraska?
Yeah, well, I love football. I love this program, and in order, I believe in order to win, you got to have great players around you, and so, I'm always grateful that these guys come to campus and give us a chance. So, it's only right that I can go, give my time, spend time with them, show them that I care. And honestly, not even like try to give them a pitch or recruit, try to give them a sample of my real self, what they get every day. So hopefully they're happy with it. I love having them around.
All right, you and Emmett have been everywhere together. How's that relationship gone? You guys it seems like every time I see one of you, you guys are always together.
Yeah, that's my dog, man. I love that guy. We spent a lot of time, going to basketball games. Times he'll just come to my house and, we'll be like, going to bed. I'm like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. He goes, I'm just going to sleep on the couch. And I'm like, all right, there's rooms upstairs, but you sleep on the couch. So I think just that relationship, we've developed it a lot. And so kind of just look to build that relationship with him, keep going, and, bring more guys along with us.
As many basketball games as you watch, you're probably an expert on the local high school basketball talent. Do you have an MVP of the high school basketball season?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of good dudes, man. There's a lot of good teams. The best I've probably seen was probably Bryson Ball. Dude can shoot, he can dunk, man. I mean, their team went all the way. So if I had to choose, I feel bad having to choose, but since we're here choosing, I have to go with him. He's a well-rounded basketball player, and I love watching him play.
And kind of keeping it in the Husker family, too, a little bit as well.
Yeah, he got the talent. He got his sister, doing her thing, so it's awesome.
Last thing, just what are the goals? What needs to happen for this football team, for you personally, over these next couple weeks before you guys close up spring football?
Yeah, I think just continuing to get comfortable in the offense as we add new wrinkles, adjusting. And like I said, just the emphasis of 2-minute and understanding, if we go into every game, we don't want it to be like that, but if we go into the game approaching it, hey, we're going to have the ball, we're going to go win it in 2 minutes. We got to be confident in that. So kind of just developing that swag, and we'll just focus on everything, but that's definitely an emphasis for us.
Great stuff. Appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you the rest of spring football.
Yes, ma'am. Go Big Red.
Again, Dylan Raiola, the quarterback, got a chance to chat with him after practice today. I know a lot of people have commented, and it's been a big topic of discussion, is just, the work that he's done in the weight room and to his physique and all of that. And he mentioned that, how he feels lighter. But I noticed, and I didn't ask him because I didn't really think about it until after we walked away and didn't think to ask him, but I thought he looked taller. I thought maybe he grew a little bit. And Evan, who was helping me out shooting the interview today, he also noticed that. So I think he might have grown a little bit, height-wise too. But good stuff there. I just excited to see the wide receiver room. Obviously, if he, that was a funny quote talking about all the different cars he can to choose from. But to seeing how, I didn't get a chance to go out to practice today, but seeing how that continues to evolve, him spreading the ball around to that group. We're hearing so much about the talent in that room. So good stuff there from Dylan Raiola. We got to get to a break. We're going to keep talking Husker football with Jeremiah Searles, the big dog. It's been a minute since we've been able to check in with him, so got a chance to chat with him the other day. We're going to bring you part of that as part of the Sideline Slice with Searles. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Life is busy. Wouldn't it be great if someone could help you manage your insurance?
Well, I do have a lot to keep on top of. Between the house, my life insurance, the car. Like you said, life is busy.
A local Trusted Choice independent insurance agent can help you with your research, coverage selection, pricing, and claims at no extra cost to you.
Which means I'll have more time to spend on other things.
Trusted Choice independent insurance agents. We'll help do your insurance. You just do you.
Elevate your
your everyday drive at Woodhouse Hyundai. Save up to $6,000 off MSRP on the 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. And when you shop Woodhouse Hyundai, you can rest easy with Hyundai's Owner Assurance, America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Visit us online at woodhousehyundai.com or woodhouseplacehyundai.com today. With approved credit, tax title license extra. Must finance with Hyundai Motor Finance. $299 doc fee due at signing. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Offer expires March 31st, 2025. See dealer for details.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
The signs are everywhere. It's time for Truck Month at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get $3,000 cash on Super Duty and save on Ford F-150. Both part of F-Series, America's best-selling truck lineup for 48 years. Hurry in, folks. These trucks are running. Drive a new Ford Super Duty with $3,000 cash or 1.9% financing. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers, driven by value.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Had a chance to catch up with Jeremiah Searles. Actually, he was here for Husker Pro Day, so we recorded the latest episode of the Sideline Slice. Wanted to bring you a portion of that here tonight on Sports Nightly. Now that there's some guys that are getting some attention going, maybe getting drafted this year, but with Coach Rule taking over the staff, I mean, what's kind of the narrative right now surrounding this program?
Yeah, I think the arrow's pointed straight up. You know, you talk to a lot of the guys in the NFL and they go, hey, you got the head coach and you got the quarterback. That's the hardest piece, right? I mean, that's all cross levels of football. I mean, I was just talking to a guy from the Patriots. He's like, hey, we got the head coach and we got the quarterback. Now we can build around there. And, you know, Coach Rule comes in, sets the culture. Dylan Raiola comes in. You feel like you've stabilized that position. Now you can really start building around them. And it's so funny now to watch Nebraska and all of college football, how they're really starting to mirror the NFL.
Yeah.
Right? You're seeing guys that have been high-level execs in the NFL for a long time leaving those programs and coming and being GMs of college teams, because it is now going to be very similar. You're going to have a cap. You're going to have management. You're going to have roster evaluation. You're going to need your high school scouts and your college scouts with the transfer portal. I mean, it's going to look very soon so similar to an NFL program at every Power 4 program in the college football atmosphere.
So, okay, and I know we'll probably, you know, learn this more as it goes along because it is a new position, but the GM with Pat Stewart kind of taking over, coming over from the Patriots, what do you expect him to do? What are going to be his big responsibilities? Because Coach Rule's still going to have a big say in the roster, right?
Absolutely.
Which is different than the NFL, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the coaches always have a say in the roster, but no, the GM and so like the hidden heroes of the NFL are the cap guys, the guys that make the money work, right? Hey, and it's different. Like now, college football has quote unquote a cap. Right? College athletics, excuse me. And so managing your budget of, hey, how do we pay this player and that player, and how do we make sure we keep this player before moving on? It's a ton of gymnastics that go on behind the scenes with, in the NFL, a lot of it is the GM and the cap guy build the roster, and you give it over to the coach and go, hey, coach, what I gave you. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a work hand in hand at the college level, because you do need to still bring in the right kind of kids.
Yeah.
You want to bring in the kids that want to be here, not just because I want to go get paid, right? Because in the NFL, everyone wants to just go get paid, right? I want my bag. I want to make my $77 million. A little different, right? There's a lot of money to be made in college football, but the really good programs are going to be the ones that can retain talent, right? Retain the talent, develop the talent, keep them in-house, not having to build your roster from a portal perspective every single year, but treat the portal like the NFL treats free agency of, hey, we've developed this. We have a need at defensive end. We have a need at wide receiver, right? Let's go find one or two of those guys, not have to overhaul our roster every year because we lose 20 guys. Now we got to bring 20 guys in. And I think that's where Pat Stewart and Coach Rule are going to do a great job of coming hand in hand, managing the cap while also managing the player roster development piece.
Okay, so one thing that's a little bit unique with Coach Rule is that obviously he came from the NFL. He knows a lot of these guys. He interacts with them, and you can tell that there's a lot of respect for those guys that come in, and he knows them. What's that perspective like, and how is that different, and how good is that for these players that come to Nebraska, that he has those kinds of relationships? Because, I mean, he had a mixer, right, with some of the guys that were that are going to be here for Pro Day. Just how important is that, and what can that do for these Huskers coming in?
Yeah, it's huge. You know, I think initially when we hired a coach coming out of the pros into college, right, you're like, oh, he didn't bring anyone with him, right? Because now you're seeing staffs get things from being in draft meetings, being in pro personnel meetings, and understanding the ins and outs and how an NFL team scouts, how an NFL team evaluates. He's going to have these players NFL ready. And I think the scouts are going to know that too. Hey, Coach Rule cut his teeth in the NFL, right? He knows what it takes. He's going to make sure that his players understand what it takes to play in the NFL, because it is hard to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, not just to play, but to stick around for more than a couple of years. I mean, there's a very small group of people that have done that. And Coach Rule understands that. And I really do think that he's going to continue to build this program the right way, because when you send guys to the NFL, recruiting becomes a whole lot easier.
Absolutely. You know, just beyond just that part of getting guys ready, but he seems just to be really well liked and respected by those guys.
Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of similar to where if you coached in the NFL or you played in the NFL, there's an instant respect factor.
Yeah.
Because of what I just said. It's hard. At one given time, there's 32 head coaches in the NFL. That's it. Right. And to have, even if it doesn't work out, to have at one point in time be able to say, hey, I had head ball coach on my hat as an NFL team, you have immediate respect. Right. And that's the piece too, where when Coach Rule speaks, they're going to listen. Right. When Coach Rule talks, he knows that he can't BS these guys either, right? He can't put his stamp of approval on a guy that maybe he has some questions about, because that's going to come back to him, right? So he's going to be brutally honest with people, and he's going to obviously pump his guys the right way. But honesty and integrity go a long way in the NFL circles, and I think Coach Rule has a lot of that.
Okay, let's dive into some of these guys that are going to be going to the next level. Let's start with Ty Robinson. He didn't do a whole lot at Pro Day here. He didn't need to, because he performed so well at the Combine. How you were there? What was the reaction there? Ty Robinson running the 40 and just overall his performance at the combine.
Yeah, I'm gonna even go back a little bit more to the Senior Bowl, right?
Yeah.
I was down at the Senior Bowl as well, and I thought Ty had a fantastic week down there. You know, he got to show his disruptiveness, he got to show his pass rushing ability. He was blowing up plays in the backfield. Like, he had a really good Senior Bowl week, and then to watch him continue to grow and go on to that at the combine, and at one point lead all D tackles, because this is as deep as a D tackle class as there's been going into the NFL in recent history. And so for him to separate himself from that middle of the pack piece and push himself up into serious day 2 consideration now has been awesome for him. You know, a guy that you and I have loved on this show since he's been on campus. To see him put it all together his senior year and then put it out onto the field for NFL execs to look at. I mean, he's going to be a very good NFL player going into next year.
And one of those stories that you point to that could have left, stayed, and it's paying off for him.
Absolutely, right? I mean, there was a lot of speculation last year if he came out, maybe he gets drafted, maybe he doesn't, right? He's right on the bubble. Come back, maximize the time with Coach Corey Campbell down in the weight room, put the weight on the right way, redefine his body, go out under the Tony White system, play as many snaps as he could, get rotated in a little bit more this year so he could stay fresh, right? He wasn't asked to play 65 snaps a game this year. He was asked to go dominate for 40, and that helped his stock tremendously.
Were you shocked he ran as fast as he did?
Absolutely. I didn't think White Lightning could run like that. Are you kidding me? I'm watching these dudes fly up and down. Also, I'm like, wait, clubhouse leader is who? Ty Robinson? Let's go, right? I mean, I was at the combine, and it was all the talk and the buzz. And, I mean, I knew he was a great athlete. I did not know he had that in him.
Well, I mean, it ended up being the fastest 40 of any defensive lineman.
D-tackle.
Yeah, D-tackle.
The edge guys are different worlds now.
I'm sorry, defensive tackle.
But the D-tackle, he was up there with that. I mean, I think a good comp for people that watch the NFL, you know, Braden Fisk last year was a guy out of Western Michigan, transferred down to Florida State, ended up getting drafted, I believe, in the 3rd to the Rams, and had a great rookie year. I think that's a very similar path for Ty Robinson.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, Nash Hutmacher is a guy that didn't get invited to the combine. Maybe some people around here were surprised about that. I know his former position coach, Coach Knighton, had put some tweets out about him not getting invited. Because a lot of the defensive linemen, there were several that didn't compete or even go through. So you lose out on an opportunity. Yeah. But, you know, Nash was able to compete here at Pro Day today. How did Nash look? And what do you feel like he's going to be able to do at the next level?
Yeah, you know, I think Nash was just a product of what I just talked about, of how deep the D-tackle class is. I think there was like 70 of them invited to the combine, right? So he's still right there on that bubble. I think he ran really well. I didn't hear any official times, but he looked good in the drills, looked like he moved around. He's going to be a guy that, even if he goes undrafted, I still think he has a good chance to make a roster and find a place to fit. You know, the one question mark with Nash has always been the pass rushing ability, right? When you look at the NFL and you're paying Joe Burrow $55 million, Trevor Lawrence $50, Josh Allen's making $350, they're going to throw the football in the NFL. To play D-tackle, you have to be able to pass rush and get to the quarterback and disrupt. That's where he's going to have to take the next step in his game, and probably why he was bumped down the list a little bit as far as when you watch some of these guys that are quick twitch from Oregon, or the Mason Grahams from Michigan. Like, those dudes can get after the passer and run stuff. He just has some still development. That doesn't mean he can't do it, right? But when you're talking about drafted, undrafted, so much of that just comes down to the product of what you are right now.
So we go back to a year ago this time, and we were out there watching spring football practice. There was a guy wearing 18 that you said, that's a next level looking guy, Isaiah Nair. And you said it again today. And what's the talk about Isaiah Nair? I know people were really impressed with him at the combine as well.
Well, 4.40 at that size, yeah, you're going to get a lot of buzzing. You know, this time of year in the pre-draft process, we joke about our agency. It's about height, weight, speed, right? Not always about the type, not always about the production. It's about how does the guy look when he gets off the bus. And Isaiah Nair is a first off the bus kind of guy, right? Like, you go first and let all the pictures take you. I said it in spring last year. I'll say it again. Looks like he's built in a lab, right? He is an avatar. He's long, he's big, he can run. He didn't have quite the production in the back half of the year that he had this year, but guys that big and can run like that, they don't grow on trees. So he's definitely going to get a chance to get drafted and go out there and compete too.
A guy that you said had a really good day that impressed you was Isaac Gifford. And I feel like he's a guy that probably could go mix some special teams maybe and contribute.
I mean, his brother just signed on to year 7 as a special teams ace, right? Those guys, tough, competitive, play their balls off. Like, those guys find ways to stay in the league. And yes, they're not going to be the guy that you want to start at safety for 17 games, right? But they're a guy that's going to play all 4 core, punt return, kickoff return, make some big splash plays, be a locker room guy, be a culture guy. If you can get the special teams coach to fall in love with you, you will make the team. And I think that's going to be Isaac Gifford's path into the NFL, much like Luke. And then maybe you start scratching your way onto the defensive roster. You have a package, right? Whatever it might be. But I think he's going to be very similar career path to his brother. And, hey, year 7 in the league, made it longer than I did.
I know there's a lot of interest, too, in a guy in, like, Thomas Fidone that came out. And what's, I guess, the projection on him? And because, I mean, he has a skill set that can certainly be utilized.
Height, weight, speed, right?
Yeah.
You look at Thomas and you go, yeah, you could play tight end in the NFL. But this time of year, too, medical red flags can pop up, production stuff. I mean, this was really his first true year staying fully healthy all the way through. But, again, he ran well at the Combine. I thought he worked out really well here today, moved well. I mean, I've heard crazy ranges on him. I mean, I've heard guys that say he could be day 2 to top of day 3 to last pick of the draft type of things, right? The draft is such a fickle beast, and it's never able to truly predict. And I think that he is a guy that's going to get drafted. If our draft was tomorrow, I would say flip a coin. I have no idea where he's going to go, but he's going to get drafted.
Wow. Another guy that really caught your attention today is not going to be drafted, but is going to be wearing a Husker uniform next year. Dylan Raiola. You love the way he was spinning it today.
I mean, yeah, I was standing next to Kenny Bell, and we just kept kind of looking at each other and looking back at him, and then you're watching all the scouts, like, right? Like, and it's such a great rule that the NCAA did to allow these guys to come and showcase and throw in front of scouts, and it's all filmed, right? So it's filmed for the players, but you'll be crazy if you don't think those scouts are like, hey, 15 at Nebraska, mark him down for 2 more years, and we're going to have a look at him because he looked fantastic today. I thought he was putting great ball. I thought he had really good pace on the ball. You know, last year my number one thing with him was like I never really saw him just like rifle one in there and go. And there was a couple balls today that I saw zip out of his hand where it wasn't the big arc, right? But it was like, hey, 3-step, hit your foot, get that one hitch and go. And that's the big part that he's going to take in his game next year. You know, times last year he held onto the ball a little long, and he was a freshman. That's going to happen. But the jump I expect him to make this year from just a processing perspective, the ability to find where to go with the football, I really do think he's going to take a big jump this year.
You talked about just the NCAA making that rule. I mean, these are guys, you want to showcase those wide receivers and the best that they can. This is a job interview, and Dylan's the guy that has chemistry with them, that they've been working out together for over a year and sometimes even longer. So you give he gives them the best opportunity to look their best on this day.
100%. I mean, I think it was 3 years ago I had Austin Allen, and I had to find a quarterback in Lincoln, Nebraska. Like, can someone come throw to my guy, please? So, no, I think it's a great thing for them to do. The NFL loves it, too, because it allows the scouts to get eyes on guys that, hey, maybe I'll be able to go look at him for next year. I'll already get a jump on writing him. Or, you know, they go back and maybe, I think, like, there's a quarterback, I can't remember his name, at Iowa State. I was just at Iowa State a few weeks ago. Jumped off the page at Pro Day, and a lot of the scouts are going, hey, this is a guy to look at, right? So it's a great rule. It was dumb that it wasn't in place in the first place, but yeah, Dylan looked really, really good today.
You talked about the different throws. Is that something, are they telling him what throws? Do you have a script going into it? So did he, I mean, or do you think that might be something he's also worked on?
Yeah, no, I mean, the way that the quarterbacks and the receivers, they usually have a script for Pro Day, right? Where it's like, hey, we're going to run all right side, we're going to hit the curl, we're going to hit the 12-yard out, we're going to hit the post, we're going to hit the fade, and then we're going to flip, and then we're going to go hit the deep dig, right? So they definitely have a script to showcase all those things. And also, it just helps that, I mean, it's not like backyard football where it's like, all right, you break out here, and then I'm going to throw it to you, right? You don't want any of that. You want this to be a very professional job interview. They went through their script, and, I mean, I think he might have only missed, 1 or 2 throws.
Wow.
I mean, overall, some of his sideline throws that he was hitting and putting out there were fantastic. So, yeah, future is still pointed straight up for that young man.
And his physique, that's been a big topic of conversation. Coach Rules talked about that. Did you like the way he looked?
Yeah, he looked great.
Body?
I mean, he looked great. I mean, I think it's funny, and social media is a fickle beast, right? There's a couple times where he didn't look like he was cut up. Hey, he was postseason. He got beat up a lot. He's fine. I mean, he's getting in there. I have full faith in Coach Corey Campbell and all those guys. I mean, all the guys look the part. right? You walk around this building and you're looking at kids that are freshmen versus kids that are seniors, and you're just seeing the development that's put on these guys, and all of them coming off of a big winter, right? I mean, winter's all about eating food and lifting weights, and all these guys look like they put on muscle mass, they look ready to go, and then they'll just turn that back over now into spring ball and rocking and rolling. But yeah, he looked fantastic.
Well, you talked earlier about Isaac Gifford maybe getting a special teams coordinator to fall in love with him. A special teams coordinator that loves you is Mike Eckler. You got a chance to see him today, and how was that?
I love Coach Eck. I love Coach Eck. I saw Maher. He was out there working with Boom Sheeny, and I was like, hey, take me to Coach Eck's office. And I got to run up in there, and immediately got to see him and shake his hand and give him a hug and just say, welcome home. So excited you're back. And it's funny, I've ran into multiple coaches today, and all of them talking like this. And I was like, oh, spring ball must have started, right? You guys all sound like you smoked a pack of cigarettes a day because you just got back into spring ball. And Coach Eck, I don't know if you've been out to practice yet, but you'll notice him when you're out there. Like, the dude brings unbelievable amounts of energy to every single practice, to every single drill. And when you're a special teams coordinator, that's kind of what you feed off of, right? Those special teams guys live off of big play energy and celebrating with your teammates. And Coach Eck's going to do a fantastic job. I am so happy he's back in Nebraska.
Yeah, that was part of the Sideline Slice presented by Valentino's Pizza, the official pizza of the Huskers. You can listen to that full episode out now. It's on our YouTube channel and our podcast platforms, wherever you listen. Got to step aside for a break. More from Sports Nightly coming up right after this.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Husker fans, if you're looking for a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding and provides flexibility, your local insurance agency is hiring. No matter your skills or interests, there are opportunities for you in the insurance industry. Explore the many ways you can use your skills to protect your community by checking out the IIAN job board. Find your calling and be a part of an industry that makes a difference. Go to iian.org/careers today.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
The signs are everywhere. It's time for Truck Month at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get up to $7,500 cash on F-150 and save on Ford Super Duty. Both part of F-Series, America's best-selling truck lineup for 48 years. Hurry in, folks. These trucks are running. Drive a new Ford F-150 with up to $7,500 cash or 1.9 financing plus $4,750 cash. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers. Driven by value.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. Mentioned that they had some media availability today and throughout the course of the next month. They're sending the different coordinators and assistant coaches up to the podium to do some press conferences. And so today it was Dana Holgorsen's turn behind the mic, and as always, highly entertaining. So we pulled some of the clips from today, some of the highlights. And first of all, I wanted to start with just he was asked about his focus between when the season ended and where he is now, what that focus has been. And this was a long, lengthy answer, but we cut it down to this right here.
It was good that I didn't have to go out on the road. Okay, so January, I didn't have to go out on the road, which was awesome. So I sat here for a month and just watched every cut up, and figured out stuff I wanted to do, figured out stuff that I didn't want to do. There's subtle changes in terminology. There's subtle changes in, whether it's sets or plays or whatever, but the majority of it's going to stay the same. I mean, we have good coaches here. This is a good scheme. It makes sense to Dylan. It makes sense to Coach Raiola, which from an O-line perspective is incredibly important. Made some changes with, the pass game and, with some different sets and stuff that makes sense to me, and just kind of kept narrowing it down. I came up with three good installs that we've been through a couple of times, and it's I got to figure out what our team is, what our offense is.
So on the quarterback room, there's obviously been some changes. Danny Kaelin transfers out, and then Heinrich Harburg moves to tight end. So you got your starter in Dylan Raiola, but Coach Holgorsen was asked what the rest of that room looks like here this spring.
Jalen Gramstad call him Granddad. He's the old guy. It's just, it's a coincidence what the last name is, because he really does act like a granddad. He's a great leader. He's got a ton of experience. I was glad that he came back. I mean, he gives us another guy that knows the offense. Smart kid. Got a lot of reps last year, especially in January, in February or December. He got a lot of reps because he was the number 2. And so he throws a good ball. He knows the offense. He knows the terminology. Kids like him. Feel comfortable with him. TJ and Marcos, guys coming in, have a lot of talent. They just need to learn it. It's going to take them a year to learn it. So how much they progress, they're going to get better every time they go line up. And we got a long ways to go to let those guys compete. Who the backup's going to be, I don't know. It'd obviously be Jalen right now, just based on the fact that he understands everything.
I thought it was great. Dylan also met with the media after Coach Holgorsen, and he was asked about Jalen Gramstad, and he said that, hey, I need you to come back. He told him that after the season last year, I need you to come back, and that how grateful he is. And he is a guy we just speaking from my perspective on the sidelines, Jalen was a guy that's very involved with, talking to guys on the sideline, and especially Dylan and the quarterbacks. And just, he has a lot of knowledge and experience and expertise there that he can talk through things. And he is definitely well-liked on this football team. So, again, that's just what I can see on the sideline. You can definitely tell that he is very, very well-liked and respected in this locker room. All right, finally, Coach Holgorsen was asked about Heinrich Haarberg and his transition to tight end, how that's continued to progress.
It's going to be a work in progress. What we did with him in the bowl game, sent him in the right direction, right? But we did a lot of outside the box stuff with him. He was a slot, and he kind of would move around and do some different things. And now he's learning how to dig his hand in the ground. And he's gained weight. I think he's up to like 240. He's thick. It's slowed him down probably a little bit, but it's good. He's learning the technique aspect of, being in the box and understanding things, and playing with pad level and also being able to get outside the box and do some different route stuff. So, he's comfortable doing that. But, running routes, when it's contested, which the closer you get inside, the more it's going to be contested, and you got to work through stuff. It's still a work in progress, but I like where he's at. Great kid, hard worker, man. Just, he's really going to help us with that.
No doubt, and he's athletic, as we've all seen. I keep going back to the story that Coach Holgorsen told during bowl preparations about Dylan and his connection to Heinrich, and that there's no doubt that there's already that bond there, and that Dylan likes throwing the ball to him. So after the game, the Pinstripe Bowl, I interviewed Heinrich, and he's so hard on himself. I mean, he just expects so much. I asked him about his first game at tight end, and you could tell he's like, well, we got a lot of work to do, but you saw some flashes, no doubt, that he's going to be able to be a big part of this offense. I can't wait to see. That's another room with, Fedoni gone and, some injuries there, to see how the tight end room continues to emerge and evolve, and how they play a role in this offense as well with Dana Holgorsen. All right, got to get to a break. We're back with our final segment here of Sports Nightly coming up next.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
The signs are everywhere. It's time for Truck Month at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get $3,000 cash on Super Duty and save on Ford F-150. Both part of F-Series, America's best-selling truck lineup for 48 years. Hurry in, folks. These trucks are running. Drive a new Ford Super Duty with $3,000 cash or 1.9% financing. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers, driven by value.
Life is busy. Wouldn't it be great if someone could help you manage your insurance?
Well, I do have a lot to keep on top of. Between the house, my life insurance, the car. Like you said, life is busy.
A local Trusted Choice independent insurance agent can help you with your research, coverage selection, pricing, and claims at no extra cost to you.
Which means I'll have more time to spend on other things.
Trusted Choice independent insurance agents. We'll help do your insurance. You just do you.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Final few minutes here left of Sports Nightly. We've got some Sweet 16 action happening right now. Alabama up on BYU 71-61. Camden Cone joins me now. You have it. What was the other score? We only have one TV on. The big TV's broken right now. And
yeah, Florida was up 40-38 on Maryland. That was at the half. They're just about to start, I think, the second half.
So a good one there. So Arkansas's pretty much dominated this game, it seems like.
Well, Arkansas plays later. But
Alabama. Sorry.
Yes.
I saw the red. Alabama has pretty much dominated this game from start to finish. They hadn't really been close. It's been a little disappointing. Like some of the craziness of March that we typically see, haven't seen as much of this time around. But even that being said, my bracket still is not doing great. And we started a Sports Nightly bracket challenge and just have not had time to give an update on that. But you're here to give us an update. Who's winning? Please tell me it's not the interns.
Not in the Sports Nightly one, at least. In our other one, maybe. But so far, at least, I'm just going to read the names of what the brackets are called because I can't tell who is who. But I think Dr. J, is winning. 520 points. He's up 10 points on, looks like Husker Power J Juniors.
Okay, so the names are interesting on this, but I do believe that Dr. J is Shane.
That was my guess.
So Shane, who is an OG in the chat, so we'll see if he can hold on to the lead.
And Scuba Steve is in third, and then one of the interns, Henry Goodwin, is tied for third. And State of Art, I'm assuming that's
in
Art.
Los Angeles, yep. He was leading
tied for third as well.
So he's staying up there.
And then I am in sixth, tied with, looks like Dr. Pitts and Josh Hilkeman, one of our producers, as well as Adam Hall. So we're all tied for sixth.
And then I'm 17th or 16th?
Yeah, looks like it. You're 17th.
And Coatney's right behind me.
Coatney's 19th.
Right behind me.
Yep.
So
Duke's in 23rd in this one.
Okay.
So Duke's a little far behind in this one.
Duke, what's going on?
Hey, every year I try and pick a lot of upsets, and this year there's no upsets, so kind of ruined my bracket.
Yeah, there's a lot of chalk happening in this one, which is not normally the case. But hey, hopefully maybe we'll have some chaos here moving forward. And it's so hard to pick a bracket. I'm like, whatever, we'll have fun with it. But I'm never good at this. Never good at this for as good as I've been at the football picks. March Madness has never been my thing, and I don't know, never done well with brackets, but. I put out a challenge that we needed to beat the interns. I don't know. It doesn't look like we're going to do that. So it looks like you guys are going to go 2 for 2 in beating us in picks this year. We have to think of another competition maybe that we can beat you guys at. So
need some Olympics challenge or something. We can do horse and I don't know, darts.
Yeah.
Archery.
The pick'ems is not going well. So anyways, but appreciate it. We'll see. You'll have to do another check-in next week after this round of 16 in the Elite Eight. See where everybody stands next week. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Coming up tomorrow, we'll just have a short show leading into baseball. Pre-game show starts at 6:30. Big series for Husker baseball back at home finally after basically being out in California for it seemed like 2 months. But they've got Oregon State, number 5 Oregon State, so a big series there. So Nick and Ben will have the action for you starting at 6:30 at the pregame show. Softball shifted as we talked about last night. So instead of being Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're going to be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, something that the Big Ten has done to be able to get some softball games on the Big Ten Network on Monday. I don't know, I was hearing that maybe the weather might be looking a little dicey, so stay tuned on that to see if the scheduling might shift around on that. We will not have a full show. It might be a minute. It might be a few days because we have baseball scheduled next week during the week. And again, weather could derail a little bit of that. But we will have a short show on Monday night leading into the pregame show for men's basketball as they take the court for the Crown in Vegas. 6:30 pregame show with Jake and Kent out there for that one as they get rolling and try to raise another trophy here this season. All right, thank you for listening. Thanks to Duke and Camden, Troy, and Haven for being here in hour number 1. Have a great night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices.
I'm Ann Meese, a farmer near Elgin, Nebraska. I grew up on this land, and we're dedicated to being good stewards and leaving it better for the next generation.
Since 1980, U.S. soybean farmers have boosted production by 130%, all while lowering emissions and improving land and water use. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them.